Oh yeah, the boys are back in town again. Hey, we're ready to rock and roll. Tom and Shane are back in the house. How you doing, Shane?
Well,
Enjoy your day off.
I feel rested other than the significant fire we had yesterday, which I'm sure we'll talk about. It
Yeah,
just was, it was unexpected day off. There you go.
there you go. Yep. Well,
Like the car broke down.
yeah, it was unexpected. That's for sure. Came in this
Yeah.
morning and came in yesterday morning. Everything is black and nothing worked. And boy, we treated you to Rush and a little coast to coast, and the text line didn't like that at all.
No, I know. Like I said, it's like in those deep days of winter, and you get up, you go out, you
Yeah.
try to start, and the battery's dead.
Yeah,
And
the
you go,
battery's
"Oh,
dead. That's what
no."
you feel like. Yeah, that things aren't. The rest of the day just can't go right.
That's
The
right.
start of
So
the day is bad. So
we couldn't find a neighbor to help jumpstart the car.
yeah,
but
that's
basically what
those
happened.
are bad. That's bad. Let's take a quick look at our Gallatin Valley weather, which is looking pretty good coming up in the next few days. 43 will be our high today, 31 the overnight low. Rain and snow showers in the offing, but not too much accumulation at least. Wednesday, we're looking at a high of 49, 33 for the overnight low. Partly cloudy, zero chance of precip in there. Well, it might be a shower here and there around the valley, but I don't want to say none at all. But Thursday, 59, going all the way up to 59 degrees, Shane. 38, 39 be the overnight low, mostly sunny all day long. And on Friday, we get up to 66. Wow. Holy wacko. 38 will be our overnight low, partly cloudy there. And then the rain moves back in on Saturday, a high of 50, a low of 31, and about an 80% chance of rain starting, early in the morning and tapering off in mid to late afternoon. And then Sunday, we're looking for a high of 51, a low of 32. And showers will dissipate, but still will be showing up around the valleys here and there. So that's your weather for the week there, brought to you by Montana Murray Kennels. Happy to have them as a great sponsor. And Brooke Foster didn't send over weather today, so I don't have Brooke Foster weather for you. So we'll give the weather once in a while here, just as wherever it shows up that she's supposed to be. So we'll be doing that. Livingston right now is 40 degrees. Manhattan's 39. Three Forks is 40 degrees. Gallatin Gateway, 39. Ennis is 38. They got a little snow falling over there. Gardner is 37. Big Sky, 32 degrees. And at the airport over in Belgrade, it's 40 degrees. And our temperature right now at 8 minutes after the hour is 42 degrees outside. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, and we're on the air. Hey, welcome back to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. So we're happy to be here. Happy to be anywhere.
That's right. The morning mirrors weather forecast.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, this day in history, a lot of things happened. As every day in history, a lot of things happen, Shane. So
It would appear so, would it not?
it would appear so. Well, 1789, President-elect George Washington left Mount Vernon, Virginia for his inauguration in New York City. And
It is pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you think you sit here and you go, "Wow, that time doesn't seem to march faster than when you become aware of it." Like in a situation that occurred yesterday,
mhm.
eight centuries later.
Yeah.
But just almost 250 years ago, the founding father, and there's a lot of things about him that people don't know aside from what they do. I mean,
Oh,
whether or
yeah.
not
Mhm.
he chopped down the cherry tree.
Yeah.
But this was the first bicameral election of a president in the United States. But he also convened and led and presided over the Constitutional Convention in 1787, and that's 11 years after the
Mhm.
meeting with in Philadelphia for the beginning of all of this. Of course, he served 2 terms. The first to be elected by the Electoral College, that was successful. And he was the one who really pressed it for that whole issue.
Mhm.
We've talked before, he was known as being widely the probably the wealthiest fellow in the United States.
Yeah.
And he traveled from Mount Vernon to New York City to take the oath of office. And you can go downtown New York City in Wall Street there, and there's a statue in front of the old City Hall of New York where he made that speech. So it's a pretty profound thing to be able to enjoy.
And I think New York was the capital until they moved it to Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
A lot of people don't realize this. I actually own the hatchet that Washington used to cut down the cherry tree.
Also, you can verify the story.
I can verify it. It's in remarkably good shape. It's had 3 new handles, 2 new heads, and it's very good shape. I mean, surprisingly, I paid a lot for it, from the guy who sold it to me.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course I did. You're right.
Because he convinced you
it was the real deal, and I couldn't dispute it. So so I got the actual hatchet at home. So
that's good, and it was less than that bridge in New York.
It was, yeah. The bridge I liked. I thought I'd like having a bridge with my name on it, but I don't know. The hatchet seems smaller and easier to transport.
There you go. That's a good thing. Good.
1912, Harriet Quimby became the first woman to fly across the English Channel. So, good for her.
What an amazing... Yeah, I didn't know about this till I looked it up. I mean, an American, May 11th, 1875, Arcadia Township, she was born. 1875, you say that and you go, wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
She was alive till 1912 and died at the age of 37, which is very young for that generation.
Did she crash by any chance?
No, but she belonged to the Aerial Club of America, which is so incredible because 1911 people. That's a great thing about your country. People start forming clubs like overnight.
Yeah,
right?
They do. That would be one.
Yeah, that's right.
1917, revolutionary Vladimir Ilyich Lenin returned to Russia after years of exile. Vladimir Lenin, big name in communism.
That's right, and true Marxist to the end. He was only in office from 1922 to 1924, and it's sort of like the French Revolution. He got xenophobed and knocked out and replaced by Stalin, but he did create the initial revolution in 1917. Or 18, after the war, and we know where it ended, not too good at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And it resulted in a greater thing for the world, as we've talked about a couple of weeks ago. 30% of the world is out of poverty now because of capitalism not being held back and the world being a freer place to live in. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, on this date, in 1947, America's worst harbor explosion occurred in Texas City, Texas, when the French ship Grand Camp, carrying ammonium nitrate fertilizer, caught fire and blew up, devastating the town. And another ship, the High Flyer, exploded the following day. The explosions and resulting fires killed more than 500 people and left 200 others missing. Holy mackerel.
It is, but again, the other thing about it too is even then, first responders saved so many lives. This was such an overwhelming disaster, and the number of people that died from it could have been far, far greater. And it was the first responders that saved a lot of people once again.
It was. From our text line 478-8298. Welcome back. Just remember, no matter how bad your day could be, someone wakes up every day with their ex's name tattooed on them. Be careful, you are not that guy. Okay, I'm going to be careful.
I like that.
I'm going to be careful of that. So that's pretty good. Thanks for that cheery message this morning.
Good way to start.
Yeah. 1947, financier and presidential confidant Berard Baroche said in a speech at the South Carolina State House, "Let us not be deceived. We are today in the midst of a Cold War."
And the fascinating thing about this is that, his reference was with regard to him being a philanthropist, a statesman, but also like one of the first political consultants, folks. And he was a big advisor to President Woodrow Wilson and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And he started the U.S. on this progressive liberal attitude. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was talking about, because, the Republican Party was well established from Franklin to Teddy Roosevelt. So, yeah, he pushed hard on the progressive liberal agenda, and he's sitting up in his grave today. He's not rolling over.
I would sure he is. 1962, Walter Cronkite succeeded Douglas Edwards as anchorman of the CBS Evening News, and 18 months later, he's doing the Kennedy assassination.
Incredible. 19 years, and heralded as the most trusted man in America by the time he retired in 1981.
Yep. Flaming liberal, but you never knew it from his reporting. Yeah.
And you and I remember,
tuned in every night.
Every night. Of course we did. I mean, the other networks at the time, because that's all there were, tried really hard. And Huntley Brinkley were the only ones that even came close to trying to touch his ratings, And Brinkley was from Montana.
Yes, he was.
That's him.
Yeah.
From Brinkley, Montana, east of Billings.
Okay, 1962, Bob Dylan debuted his song Blowing in the Wind at Girardi's Folk City in New York City. Quite
well, you probably have more to say about that than I do. I've never been a big Bob Dylan fan.
I haven't either. He wrote some great stuff, but I whenever I think of Bob Dylan and Blowing in the Wind and Like a Rolling Stone and all that, I picture him. Would he have made it on America's Got Talent or American Idol? Or, he's sitting there singing. Would you think he would have made the finals of?
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. You wonder how people do this. So, 1964, the Rolling Stones, England's newest hit makers, the band's debut album was released back in 1964, and they're still roaming around. And Mick had a heart deal going, some heart operation or something like that, and he's ready to go back out on tour. And Keith Richards is still alive. Nobody ever predicted that. Come on.
No.
That guy.
Him and his blood transfusion. But
this guy is always. Oh man.
I think he had a balloon put in, is what he had.
Yeah, something like, I don't know. He had something done, but anyway.
But he's in his 70s.
I know. He's my age. I was gonna say, man. He's dancing around there, still playing the guitar and having a high old time, and
indeed.
I don't know, probably still getting the babes. I don't know.
Of course.
I would think so. Well, in 1972, on this date, Apollo 16 blasted off for a voyage to the moon. That was quite a spectacular thing going on there. Armstrong landed in 69, I guess, and so we started ascending. I think we sent 16 in all to the moon, if I remember correctly. Something like that. 16 people walking on the moon, anyway. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and this was remarkable, 12:54 Pacific or Eastern Standard Time on April 16th. Mm-hmm. The mission lasted 11 days, 1 hour and 51 minutes.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty. Remember, the crew was Commander John Young, Lunar Module Pilot Charles Duke, and Command Module Pilot Ken Mattingly.
Yeah.
So, amazing people.
Yeah, in 1992, the House Ethics Committee listed 303 current and former lawmakers who had overdrawn their House bank accounts. So, what are we doing today? Is AOC in default? Inquiring minds want to know.
I don't know about being in default, but she's under investigation.
1996, Britain's Prince Andrew and his wife Sarah, the Duchess of York, announced they were getting a divorce. And in 2003, Michael Jordan played his last NBA game as his Washington Wizards ended their season with a loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Charlie Chaplin, born on this day. So was Henry Mancini, the American composer. Quite a
at one time the largest holder of Academy Awards.
Yeah. Let's see, Wilbur Wright of Wilbur and Orville, born on this date. Wow. Yeah. And that's probably about all that we need to go into today, because we got to take a break. And
we're out of here.
Yeah. I don't have a Headwaters report this morning. I don't have Montana news and agriculture, but I do have some great words from Four Quarters Pond. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
21 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, 41 degrees outside. KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane are back. And Shane, thanks for being here this morning, and thanks for all our listeners spending our day, your morning with us. We appreciate that very much. So let's see, from our text line, so what happened to your broadcast yesterday? Well, I don't know. We came in and everything was black, and I had no screen to direct me anywhere, and we were off the air, on and off in the morning, and so we decided we would throw up. We have the ability to put up, a rush and things like that. That's what we did because we couldn't run our regular show. So as to why it happened, I don't know. I have no clue. We just they called the engineers and the GM, and they came over, went to work, and we're working this morning. So I don't know if they stayed here all night or what, but I don't know. It's been a mess. It's been very frustrating for Shane and I, of course, that we've been jury rigging music here and there, trying to get a show that sounds like a show, and but hey. That's what pros do, I guess, huh? Every day I learn a little more that I didn't know before. So I guess that's a good thing. So,
well, if you didn't learn something new every day, you would hear it on the radio.
Well, that's for sure. Absolutely right about that. Yeah. Well, we did have the big fire at Notre Dame yesterday in Paris, and this 850-year-old building built primarily with wood and stone, some stone, but a lot of wood in it, obviously, that, made it a tinderbox when it caught fire, and they think it may have been accidentally from the people restoring it. So we don't know yet, I guess, totally complete what happened, but anyway.
Yeah. It's an amazing piece of work because in the day this is like the Middle Ages, 1163, when it was they started. It took them 200 years to complete it. So the people that started it knew they wouldn't see it completed, which is really remarkable when you think about it. But I hate to make this comparison, but it's similar to today's stadiums. It was the center of commerce. The candlestick maker, the baker, the butcher. It created the city, and the bigger the cathedral, the more people that were required, and the bigger the city would be able to grow. And big, 420 feet long, 157 feet wide at its width, in the sign of a cross. One thing that needs to be mentioned about this remarkable building is that the rib arch was the architectural accomplishment of the day. And the rib vault was so cool because to support the roof, which was so massive on this, after they built the walls around it, they put these arches on the side to hold the weight of the roof, so that the walls didn't have to hold or support all the weight, because they wouldn't be able to straight up.
Right.
And the arches they're at an angle to the ground. And when you visit it, that's one of the most startling things you see when you approach it. Not just its size, but these magnificent arches off the side of it. Quite fascinating.
Yeah.
The other thing, of course, was the work of arts inside, particularly the rose windows at the north and south end of the building. They were magnificent too, and they say one may have survived. So hopefully we will see that, because they were cut glass, of 800 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. I remember that. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Hello.
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 They have decided to.
Okay, move on, I guess. All right. Yeah. Well, that's okay. We're getting down to the bottom of the hour anyway, but
quickly, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first heard this, I just heard bits and pieces. The cathedral at Notre Dame, caught on fire. I thought it was the college.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody's making a big deal about the college. What? What's there? Well, they got it at Notre Dame. What? Newt Rockne football's on fire or what?
Yeah, that was what I thought too.
Yeah. Then I realized, no, it's I'm sorry, it's the other thing. So,
and for those listeners out there that care, Notre Dame Cathedral stands for Our Lady of Paris, of course, in reference to the Virgin Mary.
Right, yeah, sure. Yeah, the French president vows to rebuild it, and they've got $300 or $400 million pledged already from some of the high rollers there in France, and you wonder about that, Shane, because the Europe is slowly weaning itself away from religion.
Slowly.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
well, okay,
exactly.
more than slowly. Okay.
Yeah, drastically. Yeah.
They are. They're leaving in droves.
Exactly.
So, gosh. Well, and you wonder about the value of, obviously if it is rebuilt, it's probably going to be in a few years a museum, not necessarily a place of worship or whatever. That's sad to say.
It is truly,
but it looks like that's the direction that we're taking more and more, because fewer and fewer people are attending church, and fewer people are not relying on faith to get them through life. And that's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah. There's more Muslim mosques now attended in England than there are churches.
Yeah.
And there are over 800 churches in the city of Rome alone.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, you're talking about what was a very religious country. You could point the same thing at Mexico, but they've kind of you would think Catholics in Mexico would not even consider abortion, but when you have the choice of abortion or a whole bunch of free stuff, I guess maybe you look the other way and say, okay, I'm going to put that on hold. But it's sad, whatever.
It is one of those difficult things, as we always say: good choices, good consequences; bad choices.
Amen to that. All right, we got to take a break, get out of here, and pay a couple of bills. And we've got, we don't have Montana State News. We got about a minute in the Fox News and a couple of commercials, and that's it. We'll be back.
All right.
So hang in there. 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday. I forgot what day it was, Shane. Of course, who can forget Monday? seemed like a day off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's 26 minutes before the top of the hour. I'll get it in a minute. Tuesday, April 13, 2019, 41 degrees. You're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and welcome everybody to that little event. We weren't here yesterday through technological glitches, and I don't know. We got gremlins running around inside our computers and stuff, so we're trying to flush them out, but they are nasty little guys, and they aren't always easy to find.
That's right. Those Irish gnomes.
That's it, man. They're up to gnome good.
That's right.
Well, in local news, gosh, all kinds of things going on, Shane. Obviously, we talked about the heartbreak at Notre Dame, of course, and the other thing that we need to talk about is the Montana Senate on Monday narrowly endorsed a bill to continue the state's Medicaid expansion program. And as you know, that's been a bone of contention here for several weeks, paying for this thing and how we're going to fit it in the budget and all of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the vote came a day before a deadline to send the bill to the House, Senate, or the State House, rather. And supporters filled the gallery as the Senate voted 26-24 for the bill, which must pass a final vote today. So they'll be voting on it. They'll be voting on that today. So we'll have results for you later on, or check our website, kmmsam.com. They'll post whatever happens over there. Handful of Republican co-sponsors of Medicaid expansion had held up the Senate vote for a while, awaiting the fate of another bill to allow Northwestern Energy to purchase an additional share of the coal-fired power plant at Colstrip and additional capacity on a high-voltage power line. So the power and transmission bill was endorsed 62-38 in the House on Monday and must also pass a final vote today as well. So Senate Majority Leader Fred Thomas urged senators to support other bills that help provide jobs in mining, utilities, and agriculture. While many people want Medicaid expansion in the state, we also want good jobs and economy bills to pass too. So they've got quite a decision on their hands, as they've only got so much money and they got to divvy it up, and we got to get things done in Montana. And,
that's right, and only so much time.
And only so much time. Yeah, we're down to a couple of weeks left, I think. And I'm sorry we didn't have Scott and Steve on yesterday to kind of bring us up to speed on some of this, but apparently they are rocking and rolling. So Montana's Medicaid expansion program began in 2015, covers about 96,000 low-income adults, and the current program will expire at the end of June if lawmakers don't reach an agreement on that. So that's where we stand. So they're going to vote today.
That's right. It's one of those liabilities that comes due and you go, ooh, ouch.
Yeah. Well, the governor's going to get a pair of safety bills, two bills taking very different approaches to keeping Montana students safe from school shootings, have passed both houses of the legislature and are headed for the governor's desk. House Bill 567, which passed the Senate 29-21 last week, would let Montana schools hire marshals who could carry concealed firearms. Meanwhile, Senate Bill 92, which allows schools to ask voters to raise taxes to improve safety by hiring counselors, school resource officers, and mental health staff. So we'll see if the governor signs either of those or both of them. The Bozeman School Board first proposed the bill as a way to continue the trauma-based counseling program it started 4 years ago with a federal grant to help students cope with trauma in their lives. So I don't know. I'm glad we didn't have to worry about that when I was in school.
Well, because we had church.
Well, that's true. We had church that we believed in a greater good and a greater being. And when we had issues like this, we went to our church and we celebrated in our church every week. And we knew there was a place of solace and peace and protection in the church. Yeah. So now what you're seeing is academia is now making the final leg of a three-legged stool part of its game, and that's the mental health of people, because for thousands of years that's basically what one of the things the church did was maintain people, or try to maintain and help people with their mental health. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Other people would say, well, religion. Look what ISIS does in the name of religion, or look what Al-Qaeda does, or, all these groups, Hamas and whatever, think they're religiously correct and think they've got God on their side. And, it is a tough perspective to have. But I think if, there's a big difference between, and I'll use a ridiculous point, praying for a good parking spot. That's not what religion is. I mean, I didn't come in here and cross my fingers and say, "Dear God, please let everything work this morning."
That's right. Yeah. I figure that's sort of wishful thinking.
That's right. I'm gonna say it doesn't work like that. Or when I played basketball, I'd watch all the guys cross themselves for free throws. God's not going to help you make that free throw, pal. That's on you.
Yeah, that's your choice.
That's your choice. Yeah, you're either going to make it or you're not. That's where your free choice comes in. But I think a lot of people think that, oh, gee whiz, if I just pray hard enough for something, it'll happen. And Well, sometimes that, there's a plan out there, but, I'm wondering if the, when people were barely walking around on 2 feet billions of years ago, God was talking about cell phones and Facebook. So, I'm sorry.
or maybe designing them.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Thinking, wait a minute, let's see, how long is it before I have to do the pyramids? Things like that. So, like I say, there's a plan out there, but it doesn't include you every day.
Right. We are all inspired by our Savior, and that's the other thing that makes this situation with Notre Dame yesterday so remarkable, because it's the beginning of the Holy Week for the Christians of the world.
Yeah, Good Friday, Palm Sunday, 2 biggest years. Next, we got Easter coming up, and
pretty remarkable. Yeah, we had Good Friday, and so it's just an amazing thing that's going to take place in within a week. But again, the remarkable thing about it, when you think how true this is that the church, certainly in the Western civilization, definitely had a major impact for that reason, because confession isn't much different than sitting on or laying on a couch and
talking to a shrink,
confiding in a shrink, all your issues.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't call them shrinks. My wife gets on me for doing that. She said, "They're psychiatrists, they're not shrinks." All right.
Well, cops are not cops, or police, but
that's right. There you are.
But the point is, it's a pretty amazing thing that the church did fill that void for a very long time. And unfortunately, like you said, there's not much church attendance because people have much less faith than 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, and it is 41 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And, hey, this is where Montana talks, so we're happy to have you along with us. If you want to be a part of the big broadcast, it's real easy. 522-TALK. Pick up the phone. Give me a call. 522-8255. Or you can go to our text line, which is 478-8298, and we'll be happy to entertain your thoughts there. You can also reach us on your AM 1450 KMMS phone app. Right next to Listen to Us, there's a button that says Message Us, and you can click that and type in your message, and we'll receive it over here, and we can talk about it too. If there's something that you want to text me but not put on the air, just put NFA, not for air, in front of it. NFA, not for air. So if you want to insult someone or make a point that you want us to know about but not the general audience, just put NFA, not for air, in front of it. And we'll keep it off the air for you. So, yeah. Well, the Bozeman, they're deciding what to do with your downtown. Bozeman commissioners approved the 2019 Downtown Bozeman Improvement Plan with a 4-1 vote. Wow, I wonder who the one dissenting vote was, Shane.
Yeah, I
can't imagine who that would be. He may be here tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway. The decision,
we'll put him to the test. We will put him to the test.
Yes, we will. Yep. The decision sets a vision for the town center. It calls for studying new buildings, rules for the area, focusing on places for people to walk and bike alongside trees and creeks, and planning for more parking. And I think we all agree the importance of Main Street and downtown. Deputy Mayor Chris Mell said, "We've all visited towns that have lost their main street and are working like heck to get it back, and they're not always successful." So most items on the list of potential projects need policy changes and funding. That would require more research, public comment, and the commission vote before anything is final, thankfully. The plan by itself doesn't set rules, but in the past, the commission has often wrapped Bozeman growth policies like the downtown plan into city regulations. And the Downtown Bozeman Partnership and city partnered last year to create the plan with public feedback. And the area studied includes the Main Street Historic District and where downtown borders stretch out and overlap pieces of some nearby neighborhoods. So we'll be talking about that with Jeff Krauss later on this morning. I forgot it was Tuesday, so we'll be talking with Jeff today.
Yep.
I know, I missed yesterday. I must have been out of town or something. I don't know. Well, anyway, yeah. Anytime, boy, you let the commission dabble in the ecosystem, bad things happen.
Questionable decisions are made.
If Main Street wasn't a state road, it would be a park. It would just block it off, plant grass and trees, and you'd be walking your dog down Main Street in the Main Street Park. So I don't know. They are a wild group, but hey. You know, you get the government you vote for. Are you happy? Are you happy?
We have what we would sort of consider a main street called Granville, and it was basically down the old center of the commerce district, the business, where business. And they decided to just make it a closed street for pedestrians, bikes, and buses. And it was horrific what it did to the downtown core because, no one went down there to shop. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing when governments, they try these things out. Oh, let's try this stuff. And without any real understanding of how, as we've discussed, commerce operates in a city. So,
or they go nuts and hire 80 people at billions of dollars to tell them, no, that won't work.
Which we knew to begin with.
We kind of knew that would be good. All right. Well, thanks anyway. Thanks for helping us. Really appreciate your effort. And
I really enjoyed that pizza.
That's right. Yeah. Don't call us. We'll call you. So, well, the other interesting thing, they talk about wanting more affordable housing and they up impact fees.
I know.
I know. I saw that the other day. We were going to talk about that on Monday and didn't get to it, but So we'll talk to Jeff Krauss coming up at 8:00 on that little feature and see what they think is how that's going to benefit low cost housing if you got to tack another $3 or $4 grand onto each single family home. So I don't know. Anyway, we got to take a quick break, and hey, we'll be right back right after this. 5 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, April 16, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. Shane and Tobin in Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And, we're talking about Main Street and all the things they're trying to do there. Yeah. And we've also got River Rock Pond. Good old River Rock Pond. You can't beat that. Hey, let's
this is a great story. I love this story. You got to go there, right? Go.
I know. Let's blast the smallmouth bass out of there and stock up a rainbow trout. Let's just make a wholesale change here. Just genocide for the smallmouth bass and the rainbow trout. Hey, they're more fun. They throw better parties.
Yes.
They drive better cars. Come on.
It's great. It's like the Disney movie. My name is, and I only have a 10-second memory.
Bath enthusiasts hang around over there, pull out the fish. But boy, they're talking about making a big change there. But let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. 522-8255. Calling you on the air. What's up?
Morning, Tom. It's Steve.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? You a rainbow trout guy or a smallmouth bass guy?
Well, neither one. I never take time to go fishing anyway.
There you go. What's up, man?
Well, you just said that we get the government.
Government we vote for, yeah.
Well, that's not that exactly true. We get the government we deserve.
Well, that's true. I will go along with that. So,
yeah.
Well, I guess if you vote for it, you deserve it. I don't know.
Well, that's all part of it, you know.
Yeah.
They changed the voting a long time ago too. You know,
did?
You have to be a 14th Amendment citizen to vote. But the 14th Amendment was never passed. The 15th, the 16th, and anything after the Civil War basically is null and void. Since what they did in the Civil War, if you want to know what's really going on, go to War Castles on YouTube.
Okay.
And Russell J. Gould. And the first part of it, there's a whole bunch of them, but in the Civil War, basically what the bankers did is bankrupted the United States of America. So then in 1871, right after the Civil War, if you go, they have another constitution. It kind of sounds like the original one, but you see, it was right after that, they did basically away with the Constitution because now we got the president doing executive orders. We don't have a judicial branch. They let the foxes in to guard the hen house. And what we have there is bar attorneys, which stands for British Accredited Registry. And so once they get their bar card, they go back under England again, which basically we never got free from anyway. There's been a world government at least since 1493, when the Pope did a papal bull that said they own everything in the world. And so now we got England as the executive and judicial, well, I would say the executive branch of the world government. We got the Pope as the executive, I guess, and we're the military arm. So whenever England says, send your troops off to Kosovo, Iraq, whatever, we were never, ever to have a military. We were all supposed to be part of the military because the founders knew that.
And that, folks, is why we're doing so well today. Thank you very much. All right.
Oh, we're doing real well. You just hang on.
We gotta go.
Gotta go. Thanks, Steve. I'm up against the bottom of the hour. Thanks for your call. I appreciate it. All right. All right, we're going to pay a couple bills. We'll get out of here, and let's see. I don't know what we got coming up next, so we'll just play it by ear, as we always do. So stay tuned. A lot more to come right after whatever is coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It is 3 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It is Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. Shane Taubman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle-Up, your morning mayor. And, of course, the aforementioned, as we were told, it's the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane.
That's right. And just for all the listeners out there, I'll voluntarily admit.
Yeah.
I'm the corkscrew of the Army Swiss knife.
Are you? You're the corkscrew? All right.
Yeah, I'm the corkscrew. Just so everybody gets that right.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Did you get a Swiss Army knife when you were a kid? I did. I was 9 years old.
Oh, yeah. You had to have one of those.
Yeah. I was 9 years old. I was in the third grade. And I was just moving up in the Scouts. You know, I was moving up the Scouts, and I got this. And I didn't get one of those little pocket ones. You know, I got a big one. Right?
Yeah, with all the blades and tools and everything on it and everything.
Everything you need to kind of tree down and build a house, right?
Now, you realize in today's society, giving a knife to a child would be tantamount to child abuse, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
Can't give your kid a knife or a rifle or anything like that until they're like 40.
That's right. No,
Otherwise, you're going to jail.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Parental responsibility.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the 5 things you need to know, we do have a new MSU grad school dean, Iowa State administrator there. Ogilvie, Craig Ogilvie, has been named the dean and associate vice president after a national search, and he'll begin on August 1st. We're delighted to welcome the doctor to this important leadership role in our graduate school, said Robert McCullough, the executive vice president for academic affairs and provost. And so we wish him well, and hopefully he'll keep the grads in check.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be some nepotism here?
I don't know.
Seriously, didn't someone graduate from the university that could fill that role and come back?
Well, I guess they had a national search, so I don't know.
I just thought I'd throw that out there,
Maybe people who went to school here don't want to see this place ever again. You could know that,
possible. That's call there, UN. You got it.
That's entirely possible. So, I don't know. So
I do like to see that MSU has its own news service. That
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't make it's not like an announcement. It's actually a news service, probably run by graduate students.
More than likely. There you go.
Yeah, there you
go.
go.
All right. Well, the 5 things you need to know, obviously, you probably already know. The Notre Dame Cathedral, the fire is out, but the damage is done. The 850-year-old cathedral went up in flames. And by mid-morning Tuesday, Parisian fire officials had declared the blaze completely extinguished, and architects and engineers began assessing the cathedral's structural integrity. 400 firefighters who put out the inferno also rescued some of the cathedral's priceless religious relics and works of art, and French officials said the organ and some of the iconic rose windows survived, but as did the walls and 2 main towers. So I think that was the big part, was losing so much of the art and things like that, Shane, that are such of religious significance to that cathedral.
Oh, there's no question. But the interesting thing, too, will be the vaults underneath it.
Yes.
As you know, most cathedrals of this type have 2 types of vaults. They have a massive vault for burials, of the bishops of the cathedral or the cardinals. And then, of course, and other people, royalty and so forth.
Sure.
And then, of course, there's the vaults of historical artifacts, like all the architectural drawings of the cathedral are in a vault. All the original drawings for the design of the city of France are in the vault. Especially the things that date back to Napoleon time in the first, the Revolution and the First Republic back in the 1780s, and of course they have a huge history of royalty and so forth. So yeah, that's going to be fascinating to see how well the vaults held up with all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the things in there. Well, fortunately, from that perspective, the fire was on the upper floor, so the vault may have not received a lot of heat, because the heat would rise, obviously, out of there. So I guess we'll find out.
That's the potential water damage, right?
That's the thing, as to how much of that wood's going to have to be replaced, and taking those windows out and reinstalling them, that's going to be a pretty big deal to try to do that. So
that's right. It is. It's going to take years. It will take a long time to see that renovated. Mm-hmm. And I would like to believe that will happen. But as you said, it'll be more of a historical basis. It won't be on a religious one.
Well, I think I think eventually it's going to turn into more of a museum than a place of worship. Exactly. I mean, it'll still be used as a place of worship probably, but it'll attract more people as a museum or as a attraction than it will parishioners, trying to save themselves from eternal life.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the sad part is as the religious aspect of Europe and America too, sadly, seems on the downturn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it's, you know, boy, I can remember going to a church as a kid. It was standing room only. You know, you had to get there early to get a seat. And, you know,
That's right.
We had a fairly good-sized church. And, you know, but people did stand around the outsides. And, you know, then I don't know, about, 20 minutes into the thing, they would take all the kids down, you know, and then the kids would leave, and then you had some more seats.
That's right.
Everybody kind of squeezed in.
Even morning mass during the week, there were people when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
That attended. It was really quite remarkable.
Yeah. Well, did you get to see Bernie Sanders last night on Fox News?
Oh, Tom, this is 77 years old.
And sad. It's sad that
he should not be running.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I think it's great that he could be a commentator, or I think it'd be great that he could be a major, you know, person involved with the Republican. And he's not. Well, first of all, he can't be a major player in the Democratic Party. He doesn't belong to it.
Well, he's an independent. He's an independent. Although he caucuses with the, Democrats, but I don't know. Yeah, that's
what do you say? The minute you find out he releases his tax returns and what him and his wife made in the last 2, 3, 4 years, the credibility just goes out the window, like all of it.
Yeah.
You know. Just does.
Well, and also too, I think it's going to demonstrate to a lot of people, releasing 10 years of your tax returns. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I mean, you should go look at them. They're public record. Go look at them.
That's right. But the difference is Trump told everybody in the debates and everything. Yes, of course I took advantage of tax benefits.
Of course. Yeah.
If there was a tax write-off I could use, of course I used it. And yes, I am a wealthy guy. Yeah. And yes, I've worked very hard with it. Now, Bernie Sanders is on the other channel going, I think these people are also, they need to pay more. They need to pay more than their share, 70, 80%. And then you find out this guy paid 26%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a billionaire. And then you find out he pays 3% charities. He makes $1 million a year, and he gives $30,000 away. Mm-hmm. Wow, if that's socialism, most people would say, "Count me out."
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show the uselessness of what tax returns are, because first of all, it isn't all your income; it's your adjusted gross income.
That's correct.
So I mean, it doesn't really count there. So. Your tax returns really don't tell you much of what's going on. So,
yeah, but Bernie doesn't have to write off gym expenses. He's got a Senate gym. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have to write off meal expenses because he's got a Senate dining room. I mean, with a full kitchen and chef. And I mean, like he's dry cleaning. Oh no, you can't write off your dry cleaning. So it's not like he's got a lot of expenses. Right? Yeah. Like,
well, there you are. Yeah, I was gonna say almost everything's covered by the Senate, or you can probably bank your salary. So.
Yeah, but I think you should write a check for $500,000 and send it to the U.S. Treasury, because that would be 76% of what he made. There you go. That's what he should do if what he believes is true.
That's true. Bernie's only 5 years older than Trump. Let that sink in. So, yeah, he is. That's true.
77.
Well, so.
Come on, you got it. He'd be 79 or thereabout if he took the office of president.
Are you age shaming me?
No, just Bernie Sanders,
just
buddy.
Bernie?
No, you're on top of your game. This guy.
Listen, I'm impressed. Bernie could stand for. I couldn't stand for 2 hours.
Well,
at least Schultz sat down once in a while.
Not only that, but he didn't stop talking. Oh my God!
Yeah, I know.
And he paraded everyone, everybody.
Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the air. What's up?
Well, Daniel R. Peterson finally caught up to Tom Eaglehoff.
What's up?
I'm 75 years old too, as of yesterday, and they celebrated so much they shut down the whole station.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
that was the reason.
yeah, I've been submitting taxes ever since I was in the 1950s when I pushed a ice cream cart around selling popsicles and dreamsicles. I haven't been on welfare. I haven't gone bankrupt. I haven't even been on unemployment. So there's my tax disclosure. I don't see why these mean texts come in and take shots at me. If somebody's 35 and sending a text like that, I could be their grandfather. That sure is a strange way to treat the doddering old fools like us.
That's right. Treat your elders with respect.
Well, yeah, that's what we would say, but maybe somebody else.
You don't think the millennials are going to buy into that, huh, Daniel?
Yeah, it might be a new age of using the elders. Of course, we wouldn't like the Eskimos. Supposedly, when somebody gets too elderly, they say, "See that ice over there? Take a hike. Go out there until you get cold and lay down." And they just let them die off.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. That's for sure. Survival of the fittest. That's. Yeah, and of course, in some cultures, like the Asian cultures, they honor the elder generation, take care of them from, up till they go away. Yeah,
there's another thing that they say they trick us to go into gated communities so that we're away from mixing and giving our hard-won wisdom to all the other layers of types of people and age groups. It's just a trick to keep the elders away from helping the other age groups learn something about what it takes to jump through the hurdles.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Tom, isn't it against the law to buy someone's vote?
I would say so. Used to be. I don't know.
Well, I wonder when people are going to get wise to Bernie and all the rest of the Democrats. They're going to give you free education, free health care, free food, blah, blah, free this, free that. And they're taking our money, our tax money, to buy votes for themselves.
That's the ticket, man. Why would you not elect these same people if they keep giving you free stuff? I mean, that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Oh, and then this week you find out, but don't send us those migrants.
Yeah.
Don't send those people to my neighborhood. I don't want those people coming, from the south to my neighborhood. Like, wow. Boy, did you learn a lot this week or what?
It's pretty amazing. I'm all for Trump. I think we ought to send him to San Francisco.
Well, there you are. Yeah, why not?
All right, thanks.
All right, hey, thanks for the call. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these important words in 3 minutes. 22 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, 39 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Montauban, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. And Shane, I got a text on Friday that I didn't get to read that I know you're going to enjoy from one of our listeners. It says, someone needs to explain to Shane that Trump is already married. He's just embarrassing himself, kissing up to him. It's okay to criticize Trump now. So there you are, Shane. You can bash the president as much as you like. It's okay now.
All right, that's great. Well, yeah, because the Mueller report's out on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah, we'll be covering that, see what happens there. So I guess it depends on, it'll probably come out after we're off the air, but we'll find out anyway.
But we'll have Friday.
But we'll have Friday to digest it and see what's going on there. So let's take a phone call here as we wind down the bottom of the hour. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, good morning, Tom and Shane.
Hey, what's up, Pete?
Well, I find it interesting that Mr. Roger Stone asked the court for the Mueller report, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they indicted him, so now he's entitled to discovery, exculpatory evidence, and all that stuff.
Of course he is. Yeah, that's the law.
I don't think he's going to get it. You know, who knows?
Well, we're all going to get it on Thursday.
Well, if he gets it on Wednesday, then the media outfits will be paying him big bucks for it.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
And the other thing is, we ain't heard much about Monsanto, and they're getting shut down all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing, bit of bad news they got is Lloyd's of London and other insurers are refusing to insure health claims made against wireless technologies.
Ooh, there you go.
And they're comparing.
Yeah.
They're comparing it to asbestos, where the early research was inconclusive.
Ah.
So, I think that's a problem.
Say, don't cell phones cause cancer?
Yeah.
Well,
and Monsanto made a lot of enemies with the food industry, farming in particular, because of what they did and the way they went after everyone, and to monopolize the seed industry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing, it ain't just the seeds, but the thing that got everybody a little upset was their court claim of, or their new thing, I guess, I don't know, the substantial equivalent. And that's basically, looks like corn, tastes like corn. What's the problem?
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
But they got issues, and they're banned. They're banned in, I don't know, a bunch of countries. If you can look at the list where they've been banned, and now I think L.A. County was the last place that they're banning it or trying to ban it.
Yeah.
But they're going to get it done. But they, like you said, Shane, they lied all over the place. And they people on the inside.
But I mean, you remember the stories 20 years ago about a farmer. The farmer next to him used Monsanto seeds, and some of them may have blown onto his property. And then Monsanto went after that farmer and sued him in court, saying he could only buy seeds from them because I mean, it was just they put themselves in a real hole with people, and I don't think that.
And the problem with that,
karma's a bad thing, buddy.
Well, the problem with that is they won. They beat these poor farmers in court.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know.
It wasn't like they sued them and lost, which they should have.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But they didn't. They won.
All right. Is that your cheery message for the morning, or you got more frivolity for us?
Well, the last thing I'll say is they should give Assange a medal. If no other journalist outfit will report the news, then maybe it's a good thing that we got the William Benets and the Ellsbergs and Assanges out there.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah, he's going to make the Mueller report look like a cartoon, the cartoon section of the newspaper.
He already has, and he really hasn't got to the good stuff yet. When we get to the good stuff, because he knows what happened with that DNC server. He knows all about that, as do others. Yeah. Benet isn't just all by himself, but he's a pretty smart guy. There's 9 or 10 other people working with him, and they're tech guys.
Oh yeah.
So they know what you can do and what you can't do, and the whole 9 yards as far as computer technology goes. And
more important, they know what to do, how to do it. They know what you can do and how to do it.
Exactly. Anyway, that's all I got, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Take it easy. All right. Well, we got what do we got here, Shane? We got about a minute and a half left here. The we can tease the 5 things, I guess. Or, well, O'Rourke also released his tax returns as well, and he and his wife earned more than $360,000 and slightly smaller amounts in previous years, but they seem to be doing okay. Plus, I think the wife's got a lot of dough or something in their family. So yeah, she's got 2 nickels to rub together if she has to. So, but yeah, now the tax returns are out there. Why don't you go over and see if you can find any collusion with any countries on Bernie or O'Rourke's returns, or if you can find any collusion with any big companies or anything like that. By all means, be my guest. So, but no, thank you.
No, of course not. It's just a story, It's a way to defer and misdirect conversation about policy. There you go.
That's it. All right, we got a deck header, pay a couple bills. We'll be right back with more right after this. 25 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, 38 degrees outside. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. And you're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're happy to have you along with us. Appreciate you spending your morning with us. And from our text line, where were you yesterday? I noticed your station was playing some alt-right commercials, a little right of far right, don't you think? Well, it depends on, I guess, if they were playing Mark Levin or Hannity or Rush or Ben Shapiro, then yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yesterday, we had some technical glitches here that none of our stuff was working properly, so we had to improvise. We can't just have dead air, and even even bad air is better than dead air. So I know we didn't pick the most appropriate stuff for yesterday, but it wasn't me picking it. So
there you go. Yeah.
There you are.
It wasn't the mayor's fault.
It wasn't the mayor's fault. So I don't know. The mayor came in, and the staff. I don't know. Was AWOL and. The Moose had issues. XL Country seemed to run okay. I'm not sure about KISS or K-Sky or what happened with them, but they're just music channels, I mean, you don't have to do anything over there. We got to talk here.
That's right. You don't even spin records over there anymore.
Yeah, no, they don't even do that. They just push buttons and music plays. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm not even sure why they're even being paid to be here.
I don't think it's called a music list anymore. It's just music.
Well, yeah, Muzak. There you go. Well, we do have a certain, particularly XL Country. They got to play the top 40, so they. Yeah,
that's true.
They get a lot of repetition over there, and of course, between repetitious music and their constant contests, that's what can I tell you?
Yeah, there you go.
We need some contests over here. Is what we need. Yeah.
But it's not as bad as elevator music.
That's true. That's true. And we do have better bumper music than they do. So there you are. Well, getting back to the 5 things you need to know before Jeff Krauss joins us at 8 o'clock. Let's see. We were talking about Bernie and Beto Francis. I'm not going to call him Beto anymore. Francis O'Rourke.
And,
all right.
And Beto is Mexican for Robert.
I know, and he's not Mexican or Spanish in any way, shape, or form. So that's stupid. I'm not going to call him Beto anymore.
It's a marketing tool.
He's Francis. God. He's not going to be Beto. Well, I don't know. It might be Francis Beto O'Rourke on the ballot if he ever gets that far, which I doubt. But anyway, well, the third thing you need to know today, the House is going to subpoena banks for information on Russia and Trump's finances. So I'm not sure what banks they're going to subpoena because all the banks kind of put the bash on him, and he had to go to Russia, or not Russia, but had to go to Germany to the Deutsche Bank.
The big one is Deutsche Bank, and he's already provided. That his holding, not holdings, but his owing to Deutsche Bank is about $350 million, which we've talked about before. Where he is right now as a branded company with petty cash, he can pay that back at any time.
Oh,
but real quick before we just go on, because this is great. So this is the 15th largest bank in the world, Deutsche Bank. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their balance sheet, recent balance sheet shows them having 7,800 legal disputes still to settle, and they have to have a reserve for that of 5.4 billion euros, because that's the liability of those potential cases.
Mm-hmm.
Tax evasion resulted in a scandal for them in 2001. 2001, they were also involved in espionage, which they got whacked for. They got whacked in 2015 for, are you ready for this? $2.5 billion in fines and paid to American regulators, and $227 million paid to British authorities. In 2007-8 financial crisis, they paid a settlement of $7.2 billion to the U.S. Department of Justice. So, and it goes on and on of what they've already had to pay in the past. So their relationship with Donald Trump may be just probably one way, like he's wondering, why am I really associated with this bank?
Well, they've lent him more than $2 billion over the years, over the last 20 years anyway. They've lent him more than $2 billion, despite his defaults and bankruptcies. Subpoenas were sent to Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Citigroup for records related to business conducted with suspected money launderers from Russia and other Eastern European countries. So I don't. Usually, money launderers don't leave much of a paper trail. I mean, that's. Yeah, I don't know what they. Again, I don't think I don't know what they think they're going to find, but.
Well, if you like the Mueller story for 2.5 years, how they lied to you about it,
you're
going to really love the banking story about Trump for the next 2.5 years, because that's what this is. How do we fill the void?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, of course, we're going to talk about the Mueller report being released this Thursday, so we'll cover that. Jeff Krauss will be in at 8 o'clock. We'll get off on city stuff and have a good time, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, 39 degrees. Jeff Krauss is in the house. How you doing, man?
I think I'm early.
You are early. You're way early.
Way early.
You can weigh in us on, as we finish up the 5 things you need to know. Shane Montalban is in Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing, of course. And
hello, good morning, gentlemen. Here we go once again.
Yeah, what are the 5 things I need to know?
Well, number 4. The Mueller report's going to be released on Thursday. A redacted version will be released to Congress and the Department of Justice. And William Barr previously said that Mueller did not establish the president's campaign engaged in a criminal conspiracy with Russia and did not conclude whether he obstructed justice. So President Trump has argued he has been exonerated. Details from the full report could paint a more complicated picture. However, Democrats will be especially looking at what evidence Mueller gathered on whether the president obstructed justice, as Barr's letter noted that although Mueller's report did not conclude Trump committed a crime, it does not exonerate him. So Democrats have prepared a subpoena for the unredacted report. So we'll see what they get.
We'll see what they get.
When Ken Starr's report came out, they didn't want to read those details.
No, they didn't want that one.
Let's remember that now.
No, we didn't want that one. So,
and that's the whole reason the AG gets to redact stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is
well, you got
Monica Lewinsky et al.
Yeah. Well, you got grand jury testimony, and those witnesses are supposed to be private because they can't be cross-examined by the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taken as gospel without a rebuttal of any kind from the other side. So that's one reason why they're redacted, because they may or may not be true.
Oh.
And they haven't been cross-examined to verify, where were you and whatever.
And they redacted the name of people that they investigated and found nothing.
Right.
Well, that's true too.
You can't put someone's name out there that you thought maybe did something and they did.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
And then, of course, sources, like they had great sources. No. Yeah, right. Clapper and Colney and
Brennan and all that.
Yeah, great sources.
The Three Stooges and whatever. So, I don't know. I think this report is just going to frustrate the Democrats that much more. They were so counting on Mueller, a guy of integrity. Everybody went after Barr. Nobody's going after Mueller. This guy's top of the drawer integrity, and I'm sure he did a wonderful job. And Barr's goofing it up.
Well, they'll turn on him. You watch it. They turn on everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who. I mean, they turn on their own. Yeah. So, like it's There's nothing left there. Oh, and now the final thing for everyone should know that they care. Former governor of Massachusetts, Bill Weld, says he's going to challenge Trump. Right. Another old, white, 73-year-old guy.
Got to jump in the race.
Wants to now run for president, right?
So now I guess Trump will have somebody to debate.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess all the debates will be on Fox. So
that's right.
So the Democrats will be on Fox.
Well, don't they do that anyway? So that they make news, Trump makes news. You want a primary opponent, that the other party doesn't occupy the cycle.
That's true. Let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you are on the morning soapbox with Jeff and Shane and me. What's up?
Good morning, AW here.
Hey.
The swamp master, the guy who's trying to drain the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Barr is actually one of Robert Mueller's best friends. They go to church together. They're just best buddies. They're just laughing and running in the flowers together.
Running in the flowers.
I know why Trump got Bill Barr past, Senate confirmation, not Senate confirmation, but he got confirmation because he was easy. He was a no-brainer. He was already a known quantity. And, these choices that Trump makes sometimes, I know he's getting advice from everybody and whatnot, but Secretary of Transportation, that would be, what's his name's wife, Chow?
Yeah, Lane Chow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I listen, I'm a 100% Trump supporter. I was standing on the corner of 19th and Oak over here with my Trump flag and my American flag, and I was waving them around as a one-man army out there. And I couldn't believe there's probably 8-1, affirmation, and everyone's honking, and they love,
Yeah.
So I'm a big Trump supporter, but some of these choices just bother me sometimes. God, Bill Barr, that's Mueller's best friend, and we're not big Mueller fans. If you're a Trump supporter, you're not a big Mueller fan. And I'm surprised by these choices sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Barr was confirmed by the Senate. He has to be confirmed by the Senate, so he was. And
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, not to correct you, but I'm just making sure that people know.
Yeah.
But it was a party vote. I think it was one person, maybe Joe Manchin, that crossed the line.
Well, what do you guys think? Do you have faith in Barr? Do you think he's playing on the right side of? Is he on our team or what?
It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. I don't know, to tell you the truth.
That's an honest answer.
I don't know. Yeah. I got to see more action from him. Shane seems to think he'll go after Hillary, and I'm thinking, no, that ain't going to happen. At least till after the election.
Right.
If Trump wins, then he'll be in his second term, and all bets are off, and you can go after whoever you want to go after. But I don't think anything's going to be done before the election. That's just my opinion.
Right. Well, I think you're right. But I think if he does win, it's just going to be shock and awe from there on forward.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people are, there's right now Trump is a victim, and that's a good place for him to be.
That's true.
It really is. True. I mean, that gets his base riled. It gets more people to his side, independents. I mean, people who are on the fence as to, how they vote. And when they see, the abuses president takes, whether it's justified or not, and, that's up to you. But I really think that through all this investigation and everything, and nothing's come up, that people are beginning to look at him like, hey, let's move on. I think the Democrats should knock off the impeachment and all this investigation and concentrate on beating him in the ballot box in 2020. If that's what you're going to do, I mean. Right.
But I heard Nadler brought up articles of impeachment yesterday or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, they're going after him, and I think it's a big mistake. And even Bernie Sanders said it last night. If they go after this guy, they're going to lose.
Here's the key. Here's the key about the gloves coming off. Friday, the appeals court issued a stay on the order that a judge had issued about Trump being able to move these immigrants, as I call them, refugees, back to Mexico. Well, why did that happen? Well, because on Friday, Trump said, hey, look, we got all these people crossing the border, and these Democrats are supportive of this and all these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, so we know where to send them. And like within hours of that, the Ninth Court reverses itself and says, "Oh no, you can send them back to Mexico."
I got to take a break, guys. I got to let it go here. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll be right back. All right, it is 1 minute before the top of the hour. Jeff Krauss is in the house. He'll be joining us in the next hour. Shane Matobin on the line from Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. And my co-host and Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house here. And we've got about 10 seconds, I think, till music starts playing. So, Jeff, what are we going to learn at 8 o'clock?
Hey, well, as usual, I was on the one... I was Mr. 421 last night, 421, and we can talk about that. We can talk about impact fees a little bit, whatever comes up.
All right. We're going to duck out here, pay a couple bills, and hey, don't forget our app, AM 1450 KMMS on your cell phone. You can text us directly. Right next to listen to us, there's a message button. Click that, and you can send a message directly to us. Or you can text us at 478-8298, or you can give us a call, 522-TALK. We'll be back with Jeff Krauss right after the news. All right, thank you, Dan. Welcome, everyone. Jeff Krauss is in the house. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And, well, Jeffrey, once again, you were the lone vote holdout on the vision of the commission on downtown Bozeman. What's going on? Why are you such a radical nut job?
Exactly. Bringing up so the main thing I think that people need to understand is 2 weeks ago, I wasn't here, the commission passed the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District. And they passed it, and in the plan, it contains one of the steps in the plan is to take everything that is outside of the alleyways that surround Main Street and downzone it from B3 to B3 transition. So, in other words, downzone the downtown and make it less dense, and that's. So that's in the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District that was passed last week, and then this week they passed the Bozeman plan, which says under no circumstances are we to downzone or reduce the size of the B3. Now those two things seem opposite, and one of the criteria, in fact, the second criteria you use when you're evaluating any plan, any change to the growth policy, and the downtown plan is a growth policy amendment. It's not just a plan. It's an amendment to our regulatory structure is that it doesn't conflict with other documents and regulatory structures. And that's one of the very first things you look at. Well, it is. It's tough, right? And I even asked the staff that question, right? Is this conflicting? Now, what that was told me was, well, if you go back and look at the video of what we did on Monday night, you would see that we talked about how we're not going to do that for a while. And I said, well, I don't really need to go look at the video. And, when I want to know what the law is, I just go look up what the law is. When I want to look at what the plan is, I just go read the written report that plan, you adopted. Mm-hmm. And, you don't go, you want to know what the Montana Code Annotated says, you don't go watch a video of the legislature that passed it.
Yeah.
You read the law.
You read the law.
And I think that this idea that we can say one thing and do another is why people love politics so much, right? Everyone loves politicians because say one thing and do another is, what we're all famous for. And I couldn't subscribe to that, where in 2 weeks in a row we pass directions and policies 180 degrees from each other. That was one thing. I think the difference in the plan really is plans before this talked about how the downtown would change, that it was, but it wasn't about spending a lot of money downtown. There was reverse the one ways that was to be studied. There were things in there in the early plans that we used the TIF for, like upgrading the mains and sidewalks, and so there have been large infrastructure changes. I think there are large infrastructure changes in this plan, bike lanes and Main Street to 3 lanes and bike two-way bike separated bike paths on the one way. So that you come to the one way, the traffic's only coming from one way, but it's actually coming from both ways now, because the bicycles are using it. It's a two-way for bicycles, and it's a one-way for cars. All kinds of interesting ideas in there. No price tags, no method of paying for them. I've gotten to the point where I don't want to pass a plan unless it's tested for feasibility first. And there is no feasibility test on this. That was a concern of mine with the strategic plan. If you're a business and you have a strategic plan, you don't embark on it before you test the feasibility of that if you want it to succeed. And it's not just financial feasibility, it's can you do it at all? Right. And I think that we don't do that in government. We don't do that in city government. We just pass these huge plans without saying, can we afford to do this? Can we do it? And then someone will show up and go, hey, I read this in your plan, and you need to do this. And if enough people show up on Monday night, we run down that rabbit trail, whatever that small piece of that plan is. And we need to start having a different approach to government, or we will lose priority.
Isn't it the staff's job to evaluate these plans or get bids or do something that says, hey, this is cost prohibitive or this is within our budget, or it seems like it's really hard to pass something if you have no idea what it's going to cost.
Well, that's just one person's point of view, Tom.
Okay. I guess so.
That's I think that's what I'm told.
Tom, is, what he's saying to you, Tom, is that you have to pass the bill before you find out what's in it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. We got to pass it.
What it costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And or you got to watch the video, which is what I was told last night. We got to watch the video to know what we really did. You can't just take the actual thing that we passed, read it and take any parts from it. You have to watch the video. Well, imagine governing What did Congress do? Well, you got to watch the video.
Watch YouTube.
Got to watch 4,000 hours of C-SPAN to really understand.
Ouch.
So, that's we passed 2 conflicting plans 2 weeks in a row. And I think mainly because we didn't want to say to one group or another, we're not going to downzone around Main Street. The central business core is going to stay B3, central business. It can go up 5 stories. There's possibilities for additional height. That it's going to be, the downtown is going to be the place where commerce and people live. And there's a second thing that I wanted to touch on, which is a little more nebulous, but I think equally important. And I started talking about how downtown is rapidly changing to a place where, and it's more like Vancouver, BC, right? It's a place where people live or people visit, and it's for the people that are downtown. So downtown is for the downtowners. Some of it is commuting, but downtown really is for the downtowners. We're not going to be like Livingston in Park County where, hey, you get in your truck and you drive downtown, you live out of town, you drive downtown, and that's where you go if you're in Park County, right? You go to downtown Livingston, which is, I think, what Bozeman was for the most part. No offense to Manhattan or Belgrade, but, you want to do something, you go to Bozeman and you go downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown is not going to be that anymore. And I think it was perfectly summed up by Chris Mell, who was sort of rebutting me, going, "Yeah, so what? Everybody in Gallatin County can't show up downtown at the same time, right?" He's right, and I think the probably the way to sum up his point of view is downtown. It's not for everybody anymore, and I don't think we talk about that very much. I don't think we, as a city or people that are doing business down there, they don't realize that it could be that the way downtown is changing is taking their customers away. And I think they're beginning to wake up to that when they say, so there's a saying around Bozeman that is, it's so crowded, nobody goes down there anymore.
Right. Yogi Berra. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a saying that we hear applied to downtown Bozeman. And I think that seeming contradiction really is about the changing who the customers are and who the people that are going downtown are and who the people you see walking the street are.
Well, I think there's a perception, right or wrong, Jeff, I think you'll agree, that a lot of locals think downtown is tourist priced.
Yeah.
That things are higher down there. You can't go down and buy you could go to Macy's and maybe get a lower price than you'll get downtown, or Penny's, or some big box place or whatever.
Well, I think that you see it. Now that I live on the west side of town, and it's 5 miles from downtown.
Right. Yeah. So you got to have a reason to go down.
You got to have a reason to go down there. There has to be something there that's unique from what you could find elsewhere.
Yeah.
The commission meeting on Monday nights, I got to go downtown for those, right?
Right. Yeah.
The library, you have to go downtown for the library.
And restaurants too. A lot of people like certain restaurants downtown. They like the Western Cafe. They like the Over Easy. Whatever.
Yeah, and, I think they like, you can get out of your car and you can pick a restaurant, right? Other places you're probably driving to the restaurant you've already picked.
Right.
You can go downtown and say, hey, what let me window shop restaurants, okay?
Yeah.
I think that's true. You're not going to get that everywhere yet. But I go out to that new thing on the west side of town, and there's 2 or 3 restaurants in there.
Yeah.
Off of Cottonwood and Huffine or Main Street.
Well, and Ferguson Farms is expanding out there, and somebody said they may be a second downtown one of these days, because you're going to get Town and Country out in that area. You're going to get other businesses moving in there, so that'll attract maybe more restaurants or eateries or snack shops or something.
As long as you can walk around, there seems to be a lot of I always worry about how much you just see a parking lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That is the way you see downtown. You don't just see, you see the shops themselves. You don't see a parking lot.
Well, I was going to say, between Sidewinder and the market, that's it. You know,
yeah.
You got to go out in the street to get around to the other side to get to the, what is it, the Broadway or Boardwalk or whatever that building is behind it.
Yeah. I think there are some, challenges to that idea yet. I think we have a better shot at that in Midtown, where as things get torn down and rebuilt, they can get built next to the road. And so you are driving down, looking in the shops again. I think that has a possibility.
Is Ferguson Farms in the city?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay. I thought it probably was. But
city goes all the way
on that side of the road, on the west side, the west side of the road. It goes further out than it does on the east side, does it not?
Well, on the on the south side of Huffine, it goes.
I know we got a city limit
on the other side of
Rosauers.
Cottonwood.
Yeah.
No, the Rosauers is way inside the city limits.
Okay. Well, they got a sign there. This is welcome to Bozeman. That should be at the city limits.
Yeah, I think there's stuff on the other side of Cottonwood, on the west side of Cottonwood, that's in the city.
Yeah.
And of course, I live half a mile west of Cottonwood. So, but that's down on Durston. The city extends farthest to the west along Durston.
Yeah, past the high school and
the new high school. Yeah.
That goes on out there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman, and current city commissioners in the house with me. Shane Tobin on the line from Vancouver, and we'll be right back with more right after this. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., it is Tuesday, April 16th, sorry. Looks like a 9. It's upside down. April 16th, 2019, not April 19th, 2016. 39 degrees outside. Jeff Krauss is in the house, three-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner. What's his name? Shane Tobin is on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. It's been a long morning, Shane. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem.
And Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor, who's completely out of touch with reality and totally unsupervised, by the way.
Well, it's good. Yeah. I'm not to the point where I need supervision, but it could happen soon.
That's it. From our text line, 478-8298. Best thing about Bozeman, only 10 minutes from Montana. Well, I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, I know that joke. I like Bozeman in general, right? And I like downtown.
Yeah.
But I think when you pass a new amendment to a new neighborhood plan, your first thing you should do no harm, and it's we could experiment our way out of what we like about Bozeman. I will say this: people go where there's opportunity, and so if you're a town where there's opportunity, you will grow. And if you're a town where there is an opportunity, you will shrink. And that's why when people say to me, well, why can't we just stay the same? Why do we either have to grow or shrink? The answer is because people go where there's opportunity. That's really the answer.
As long as there's an opportunity here, they're going to be here.
They're going to come here. We're going to grow because there's opportunity here.
Won't stop them. Housing prices won't stop them.
Right.
If they want to be here, they can be here. They'll be here.
And they'll want to be downtown, even if they have to bury cars 2 floors down under the ground. Right. We're gonna have people come to downtown, and so the alternative, which is to become less relevant. Economically, or to be a place where our children have to move away. Those I don't find those attractive. So this is not a universal condemnation of the plan or the way downtown is evolving. I'm not particularly assigning a good or bad to that. What I am saying is this is a huge change. So you might be a restaurant or a store that's contributing to this plan, and the plan is saying, well, your customers are going to go away. And you need to be alive to what's going on with that. And that's why I use that Yogi Berra thing. It's so crowded, nobody goes down there anymore, because a lot of people are going down there, right? Yeah. But they may not be going. They may not be the traditional customers a Montana downtown would see.
Right. And
in that case, you're going to see some businesses who say, "Well, all of my customers drive here," and they complain about the parking. I don't generally complain about the parking. I always find a parking spot, but they complain about the parking, and what are you going to do about it? And I said, well, the nature of the place is they want more bike lanes, they want more walking, pedestrian, this and that, and they want more people living downtown. That's all. You need to be alive to. That's going to be the new demographic down here.
And you have 2-hour parking and almost everywhere downtown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and we have a parking garage that you can find a parking spot in.
Pretty much.
Sometimes people say, "Yeah, but I had to go all the way to the top."
Well, I got an elevator.
You did. You might, but you still found a parking spot, right?
That's
right in the center of town.
From our text line 478-8298, what will be built where City Center used to be?
That'll be up to the people who own the property. Yeah,
that was an easy answer.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, what will I asked you this off the air, Jeff. What will the city do when a biker gets hit by a drunk trying to park on the left side of Babcock?
We will arrest the biker or the biker. Yeah, we'll arrest the drunk. Yeah,
we'll arrest the drunk.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this in a Jeff Foxworthy voice. If you are 100% for any politician, you just might be a sheep. So there you are.
Well, you did a good job of that.
That was close.
That was very good.
Yeah, y'all didn't come from down south, so you don't have it, but
I ain't quite got it yet.
No, you don't.
Let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the morning soapbox with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
Morning, gentlemen. This is Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Been here about 75 years now, and
that makes you old.
Bozeman has changed dramatically.
You're kidding me, really?
Every community's got its anchor or combination of anchor points, and for me anymore, I live between Belgrade and Bozeman. About the only ordinary business anchor point is a hardware store, Owen House Hardware.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the only reasons I show up in Bozeman is either, Sundays go to church, and if my kids happen to give us a gift certificate to go to a fancy restaurant. Otherwise, I avoid it because all the other things that I need are out on 19th or out on the west side.
Yeah, or even in Belgrade. I think you begin to see. I don't want to say the best of Bozeman, but occasionally you see a store or a business being nominated as, quote, best of Bozeman that's out in Belgrade, right?
Yeah.
And, I know a lot of people that go out there for various things. Not going to say any of them because, nobody paid us to advertise. But, those are certainly those decisions if you're out of town. And one of them is, can you drive your truck into town and park it? And can you drive your truck into town without they talk about, what we need to do is slow down traffic. Well, the speed limit on Main Street's 25, and that's pretty much, you probably average 20 or 18 if you drive down Main Street. I don't see that's too fast, right? 18 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we need to slow down traffic. They're discouraging people in cars and trucks from coming downtown.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
All that's accomplishing is driving us away from it, because if you need to go downtown or go through it, it's frustrating.
Right. Right. And I think that is again what some businesses downtown who might traditionally, Paul, have gotten your business are saying, right? I think Owen House has a legitimate concern about parking, right?
Yeah.
And they have a store on the west side which is the store I routinely visit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you can't find it anywhere else, usually Owen House has it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the people that work in Owen House, and I find their customer service to be superior to there's a few stores,
very few,
Music Villa or Owen House or World Boards, for example. I don't actually buy a World Board, but those are the kind of places you walk in and there's someone there who's explaining everything to you right away. And those stores are surviving retail.
Yeah. All right. I got to go. We're up against the clock. Hey, thanks for the call.
You bet.
Appreciate it. All right. We got to pay a couple bills and Fox News. So we'll be back with Jeff and Shane and me.
Thanks for calling, Paul.
All right. After this. 26 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, April 16th, 2019, 39 degrees outside. Shane Matavin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor in the house, and the formidable Jeff Krauss in the house, three-time Mayor Bozeman and current city commissioner.
Yeah, it's we're talking about downtown. It is interesting, some of the businesses that have held on. O'Reilly's auto parts store right over here. Yep. They've held on, in an area that emphasizes walkable and bikeable. How long will O'Reilly's hang on, right?
Yeah.
Montana Motors disappeared a long time ago, and they justifiably, I think. Downtown is a great place to go for special occasions, and if you live there, you can walk there every night or every day, or if you can afford to, you can eat there. But I think that all of what I'm saying just points to the changes, and we talked about last night the need for 250,000 square feet of office space downtown, and how that gets built and how we would park that. I think that's a critical piece. The people that want to live around where they work, which is describes today's worker, office worker, I think, very well.
Yeah.
They're going to want to live around downtown and in downtown, and they're going to want to there are a lot of tech businesses that are going to want to be downtown. They've told me. I said, well, why don't you locate in Midtown? And they said, oh, that's just too far out. Well, 7th is, of course, 7 blocks from Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. And when you define 7 blocks as too far out, I think you've lost the perspective of where Bozeman is going, because the pressures, I think, on downtown are going to lead us to areas like the Cannery, or northeast neighborhood, what's going to go on down there, or Midtown. I've been preaching Midtown for 15 years, and people tell me now, you might as well give it up. People aren't buying it. But I think they are buying it. We're going to have a music venue. We just approved a couple of new buildings down there.
I was going to say, I think when those pop up, I think that's going to, it's like Ferguson Farms, sat vacant for a while till Sidewinders moved in, and then Rosauer, same thing. That whole center was kind of vacant for a long time. And then a couple, Morrison Merrily built their place, and then a couple others, and we got the big building that I call the mosque going in right behind them.
The wedding cake? I don't know what
Whatever
it is
that thing
exactly.
Is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a mosque to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody says, what is that thing? And I said, boy, I don't know, but it has it's in the top 10 of homeliest buildings in town.
I was going to say, it's not going to be on a postcard I'm going to send anyway.
Come to Bozeman.
Yeah, right. Here you go.
But taste is, I guess, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A lot of people complain about the Lark, and I like the Lark, So, I even like the Co-op.
Yeah.
So
the new part's looking better than the old part.
Oh, come on, the old part looks fine. I mean, they they look agricultural.
How'd you let that build right up to the street? I mean, shouldn't there be grass and a couple little hills or something in there?
Is that the way it is downtown?
Well, not really, but
so I think that you can choose that.
Yeah.
Where you have a little setback, but you can also choose to go right to the sidewalk, the way it is downtown, right?
Okay.
And I think what we're thinking about is that the downtown is spreading that way, so the downtown look is spreading that way. The first one was the snow load building, right? The snow load building going up where there was more car-oriented businesses, like a Hardee's was there, and whatever else was there.
Say, for people who've been here for a while, it's where the Hardee's used to be on 8th. And you'd run right into it if you went straight down 8th.
Right, and now it comes straight out of the sidewalk, and
I guess it does.
And that isn't an extension of sort of downtown, the downtown building style. And I'd like to see more of that going down Midtown as well, going down North 7th. And then the parking's in the back or on the sides. And that presents a sort of a more pedestrian inviting area. And, people need to get into the habit. When they get into the habit of going to the Ferguson Farms or the Midtowns or Cannery, people get in the habit of going to the Cannery, they'll start going there. Right, and
they will, yeah.
And I think that it's funny to say it. That's a little of it. Once people start going there, they'll start going there. As a Yogi Berraism,
right,
but
they will.
But that is the case, and you just have to give people a reason to go on a regular basis, and they'll start showing up.
Well, I think that's what we're turning into, and like Paul said, he goes to 19th. That's his shopping area. Another group of people go downtown. Or the hospital people will hit Hebes and that into town maybe, and the university hits that around them, and we have pockets of prosperity.
Right.
I guess is what we're looking for here, but the people are going to change their attitudes, much as Paul did, where Paul said, "I'm not going down there and fight that traffic for." Other than going to Owen House or either the one out on Huffine or the one downtown, either one.
Yeah.
Or I'm going out on 19th, to eat or shop or whatever out there. Everything I need's out there. Costco's out there, Penny's out there, or not Penny's, but Staples is there, and World Market and Target and all that's out there. So, do I really need to go downtown?
So it used to be downtown had 14 gas stations.
Yeah.
Right now it has a couple still.
Yeah.
But it used to have 14 gas stations, and we've evolved. And the people that say we need to save Bozeman, I always ask them, did we really need to save those 14 gas stations?
Yeah.
Or did we need to take the gas station and convert it into a nice building that comes out of the sidewalk there at the corner of, or two of them, actually. There were actually 3 gas stations on the corner of Grand and Main at some point in time, and now they're healthy, businesses and banks and contributing to downtown.
I got to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Shane Matauban on the line, half man, half amazing. Jeff Krauss, 3-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioners in the House. And we've got some text to take care of here. Jeff, 478-8298 is our text line. Tester will be holding a town hall at the Baxter today at noon. So you'll want him to show up for that, won't you, Jeff?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I showed up for many of those, and the first 10 people get up and ask them for money. So, it's no wonder Congress has spun us into oblivion because we ask them to.
You get the government you pay for, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't pay. You get the money you borrow for.
Oh, that's right. Get the money you borrow. You get the Congress you borrowed for. I haven't been downtown in 20 years other than to drive through. I avoid it if at all possible. Whenever a building is torn down, Kmart, the hotel at Main and Mendenhall owners should be required to turn it into a toll parking lot until it's developed. Visiting and looking trashy. City should benefit from the partial revenue from that toll. So there you are. You can do the Kmart lot and the old City Hotel there.
The old City Hotel would be a great place for a food truck rodeo. Yeah. If there were if there was still some trees and you could
that too,
a place where you could sit and
picnic tables.
It's a little more inviting, but I guess you got to have somewhere to go when you park.
Yeah. Also from our text line 478-8298, Share glad Bozeman didn't become a sanctuary city, and you guys considered that at one time and.
We didn't.
Passed on it, didn't you, or didn't you? Or did people just show up and want you to?
People showed up. There was a movement that showed up and harangued us.
Yeah, and you guys wouldn't even entertain it.
And we wouldn't even put it on the agenda. Yeah, that's right. So the answer is no. Yeah, we didn't entertain it.
Okay, so I think we're safe from Trump sending.
Yeah, we're not getting a bus.
A couple 100,000 people here.
Getting the bus.
Well, now that would solve the downtown customer problem.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Everybody buying stuff. Well, I don't know. We may be a little too expensive for a group.
And I did have a lot of people call me and say, hey, that development out there in Belgrade, is that for Syrians? And, of course, the answer was no. Everything is too expensive to move people here.
I remember we had a whole bunch of trailers out there, and everybody was convinced we were going to bring Somali prisoners or something in here, or refugees or whatever.
It was the rumor of the year, man.
It was, yeah. Even beat out Microsoft and Cabela's moving here.
I'd probably take a Cabela's, man.
I'd take a Cabela's. Cabela's would be okay here. I think we're getting almost big enough to have a Cabela's, I would say.
That would be good.
Yeah. Well, maybe out of Ferguson Farms, they'll throw one up here.
Yeah. Listen, I'm very excited about the news from Town and Country. And if they go out there at the corner of Cottonwood and Babcock, they will become my grocery store.
Yeah. What about Winco? They were in a lawsuit with the unions, I guess, from a couple of the other grocery stores here in town. And is that been settled, or is it still
the city getting sued?
Oh, sorry,
my usual disclaimer.
You can't talk about it, right?
The city is getting sued.
You can't discuss
for our decision. Yeah, and I think that we should hear something fairly soon.
I was going to say they need to get rocking and rolling because construction season is here.
Upon us. Yeah,
is here. So if they're going to put something up, they got to get rocking and rolling. Have it ready by midsummer or early fall.
So. I think Winco came in on the city side, but that's a suit questioning a process that actually was an administrative process that didn't even need to come to the commission.
Yeah,
the approval for Winco, they met all the requirements and they were approved, and they got appealed, and we heard the appeal, and we. Decided against the appellant, basically, and then that has been, and then we got sued. So that's what's holding it up.
Okay, we got to do the Rush update and some other things. So here's Rush. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. 40 degrees outside. Jeff Krauss, our three-time mayor and current city commissioner, the lone voice in the wilderness for a reason on the city commission. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And from our text line, why do we have an Olive Garden and not a Red Lobster for Mr. Krauss? That for Mr. Krauss.
It's just up to Red Lobster and Olive Garden. Are they owned by the same
usually
people?
They're together. Yeah.
In most cases, I think what they do is they look at they just look at the demographics of the town or city and make that decision.
So we don't have a fish eating population here, even though we got some of the best fishing in the world, I guess.
I don't believe it has anything other than they have a market model. It's the same reason, they have this is the markets they'll go in. And until we get to that size and that demographic, we're not going to have one. Right?
Well, that's what Winco did. Obviously, they said, well, will this area support another grocery store? And they decided, yes, it would. So, that's why we have them. So,
But we don't have, Trader Joe's or Whole Paycheck Foods or,
Tony Roma's, or you can name.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Cracker Barrel, whatever. We just don't have them yet.
Yeah.
So
I think Cracker Barrel has something to do with buses too.
Yeah. Well, what else? Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, you go on and on and on. Spaghetti Factory. Whatever.
I don't know that everybody in town is yearning for more of those franchise restaurants or not. They might have a favorite they're thinking, well, I used to go to that once in a while, but...
Well, I think that's what it is, because we have so many transplants here that, we used to have this restaurant or that chain or something, and that's like the Red Lobster question we just
It's a good question.
A lot of people like Red Lobster. We lived in San Diego. We used to go to Red Lobster all the time. We like their biscuits, and food's all right, I guess.
Yeah, I like their biscuits. I'll make their biscuits.
Yeah,
right?
You get you can buy the mix now, so you can make them at home.
Yeah,
so.
They're 800 calories a piece,
right,
but
yes, they are.
And all you got to do is put a little butter in them, and boy, are they good! Yeah,
sounds good to me. Shane too. He's ready to get some biscuits going.
Biscuits are always good.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Do you have you got Red Lobsters up there, Shane?
No.
Oh, no Red Lobsters? No. Olive Gardens? No.
Nope.
Wow. You just got,
so it's just poutine all the time, huh?
You just got that Tim Horton deal going on, huh?
That's good, baby. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, guys. And Mayor, I'll talk to you in the morning. Everybody, be happy, be safe.
All right. Thanks, Shane. All right. That wraps it up for us. Jeff, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah. Appreciate it. And everybody that's listening, thank you for listening.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks, everybody. We're still jerry-rigging things here, trying to stay on the air, but we appreciate your support. Thanks for listening to us, and thanks for hanging in there with us. All things considered, we'll be back tomorrow, I hope. So stay tuned. We'll see everybody bright and early, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening.